From the very beginning, the descendants of Abraham were chosen to uphold the law of the one true God. Yet even before the hardships of Egypt, their history was marked by rebellion. Turning away from God, failing to follow His commandments, they invited consequences that would shape their destiny. The promise of a covenant meant to guide their lives and morality was continually tested by human frailty. Egypt became a place of bondage, not simply by chance, but as the natural outcome of disobedience and moral failings. Slavery, oppression, and suffering were consequences of ignoring the covenant. And still, God's mercy guided them, raising a deliverer in Moses to lead them toward freedom and the promise of the land. But freedom demanded obedience. Moses ascended Mount Sinai to receive the commandments. Alone, the people below melted gold into a calf and declared it their god. This idol in truth was a form of Baal, the foreign god worshipped by the surrounding nations. The first commandment, the foundation of all law, was broken again as the people turned from the one to follow another. This act of rebellion would echo across generations, a signal that the human heart often strays from divine instruction. Settling in Canaan, the allure of foreign gods, Baal, Asherah, Moloch, pulled many away from the covenant. Kings built shrines, tribes erected golden calves, and prophets cried warnings that went unheeded. Child sacrifice, injustice, and moral corruption became intertwined with idolatry. Disobedience led to punishment, conquest, exile, and the destruction of temples. Time and again, the consequences followed swiftly, a clear pattern of cause and effect. And then came the final exile. The Romans, powerful and indifferent, acted not out of hatred for idolatry, nor from moral judgment, but as instruments of divine justice. They destroyed the Second Temple in 70 CE and expelled the people from the land, carrying out the punishment decreed by God for persistent rebellion, idolatry, and wickedness. Even Jesus himself spoke of the corruption and sins that had led to this catastrophe. The exile was not a political accident. It was a divine command to wait, reflect, and remain patient until the coming of the Messiah. Yet mercy remained. God allowed the scattered people to survive, study the law, and preserve their faith. Still, the cycle persisted. Obedience faltered, commandments were ignored, and history repeated itself. Break the first law, and the rest of the moral compass falters. Theft, murder, and injustice follow in the wake of disobedience. Across centuries, the Jewish people wandered through Europe, often in times of widespread moral corruption, social upheaval, and human cruelty. They faced persecution, pogroms, and expulsions, suffering at the hands of rulers and neighbors alike. Their survival depended not on conquest, but on endurance, study, and preservation of faith. Yet even amid suffering, the human tendency to repeat cycles of disobedience lingered, a shadow over generations, a reminder that divine law must be actively followed, not merely remembered. Centuries later, some returned by human initiative, seizing the land, displacing its inhabitants, and waging war. Once more, the pattern repeated. Disobedience followed by suffering, a lesson ignored. The commandment to love justice, to respect life, and to obey the one, commandments etched into the foundation of their identity, were overshadowed by human ambition and political strategy. Now in Gaza 2025, the consequences of these cycles are stark and undeniable. Cities destroyed, civilians killed, lives uprooted. The question echoes through history. Have the commandments of God been followed? Do these acts, the dispossession, the warfare, the targeting of innocents, align with the laws given at Sinai? When viewed through the lens of the Ten Commandments, the answer becomes painfully clear. Theft, murder, and oppression are violations of the very principles meant to guide morality, justice, and humanity. History speaks a relentless truth. When the one is forsaken, the commandments are broken and suffering follows. The cycles of rebellion, punishment, forgiveness, and renewed rebellion continue. They are etched across generations, warning that divine law cannot be ignored without consequence, and that the lessons of the past remain urgently relevant today.
If you don't know, now you know.